Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be getting her to fall in love with you again. Well, I've got an email here from a guy who's been using what I teach to get his ex-girlfriend back. Now he's hooking up with her again, sleeping with her again, but she's not in love with him. She loves him, but she's not in love, and so he wants to get her to fall back in love again. So he says, "Hey Corey, I've got a couple of quick questions to ask your opinion on about my ex who just re-entered my life. This is the woman who told me we need to take it slow." Most of them will say that. "First, I think I am reading too much into what she is doing and not doing." Probably. Most guys do. "Every morning she would initiate contact with me by saying, 'Good morning, boo,' or 'baby,' and I would reply the same. On the other hand, once in a while, it's just..." And he says, "On the other hand, once in a while, it's just good morning without the terms of endearment. Should I look at this as an issue, or am I being paranoid?" The thing you got to remember is women are emotional beings, and their emotions and their level of attraction for you is going to fluctuate on a daily basis just because they're women, because their emotions are kind of like Mother Nature. Sometimes it's really nice and sunny out, and sometimes it's fucking pouring down rain and thundering and lightning, and there's a storm out. But you can't take those things personally. You just simply got to look at it as a reflection of how she's personally feeling in the moment, and also how many things you're doing right versus how many things you're doing wrong. And since this was a girl who dumped you previously because you were treating her so badly, she's obviously going to be very skittish and unsure of herself, especially when you do and say things that push those same hot buttons that cause her to feel the same kind of pain that you once caused when you guys were together in the past that ultimately led to her breaking up with you the first time around. He says, "Then she would text later on in the day about where she's going and what she's doing, and then the text stopped for the rest of the day. It's totally normal. Women are like cats. You got to let them come and go as they please. It's all based upon how they feel about you in the moment." And again, women, you got to remember is you got to give them the space and the time to miss you. When they're thinking about you, they reach out to you. And the rest of the time, that's why you got to let them go and roam about the neighborhood and about their life and not take it personally. I mean, you don't see the owners of cats who let their cats run around outside, running around the neighborhood chasing them, do you? Of course not. And if they were to chase their cats, what happened? The cat's going to be like, "Fuck you, dude," and the cat's going to take off. He says other times, if I don't text her later in the day, I would get a text saying, "Hey, how are you and what are you doing?" Those are things when she becomes a little unsure of herself and she reaches out to you for certainty. Those are when you take those opportunities to simply arrange the next date to get together. He says, "Last week, while having dinner, she mentioned that she loves me, but she's not in love with me like she was when we first dated 2 years ago." You got to remember, women, I had one of my girlfriends years ago. This is probably, 12, 14 years ago. I was hanging out with her mom, and very great, a very good family. They were all very close. And her mother, we were sitting there talking, and she says, "Corey," she says, "you got to let her feelings for you develop over time. You can't force it, and you can't make it happen any faster than it's going to happen. You just need to chill out and relax and let her come to you." She loved me like her own son, and she even used to tell me, she says, "If you lost all of your money and you lost your business, I would totally let you come live with me and I'd take care of you." And that's how much she loved me, and she was helping me. She wanted me to win her daughter because her daughter was always pretty much dating douchebags at that point. He says, "My reply was, 'Well, you didn't love me when we first started back then, and your love grew for me and in time, so it will again.' And I told her that I was in it to win it." And her reply was, and this is a test, which I think you passed with flying colors, by the way. He says, her reply was, "Well, would you come to my wedding?" In other words, she's saying, if I got married to somebody else, would you come to my wedding? And so basically what she took was what you said, and in essence internalized it like a woman does. It's like, "Oh, really? Do you really mean that you really care about me and you're in it to win it? Well, what if I was marrying somebody else?" is basically what she's intimating here. And I love your comeback here. So she says, "Would you come to my wedding?" And he says, "Yes, I will be there to say I do." That's fucking brilliant, dude. Good fucking job. And she laughed at my comeback for about a minute. 1 whole minute. That's fucking great, man. That's awesome. So you passed that test. And that's what women do. They'll throw shit at you, and if you're not ready for it, and if you don't understand that women test you in that way, in essence, what she's doing is she's just testing to see if you really meant what you said, and so she's throwing like a total curveball at you, and you totally got it, and you are a one-track mind of, well, obviously, if you get married, it's going to be you're marrying me. That's what you communicated back to her. And she laughed because you busted her on it. It was just fucking beautiful. Good fucking job, dude. Pat yourself in the back for that one, because you passed that test with flying colors. He says, then in the car, I told her, however long it takes for you to fall back in love with me, I'm willing to see, even if it takes a month or two. And she replied, well, since you said that, when it happens, I won't tell you because payback's a bitch, referring to the fuck-ups that I did in the past that led to her breaking up with me. See, it's awesome. It's like women know this shit. They know how to play games. They know how to tease. And it's not that they're trying to manipulate, but it's just her way, a woman's way of going about seeing how much you really care and how much you're really into her and how much you really think she is special and valuable. He says, we went back to her apartment and made love after dinner. I set the mood by lighting up a candle and turned off the lights. Nice touch. Women like that kind of shit. He says the next morning, because the reason they like it, because it shows through your actions that you actually care about her. He says the next morning I went to work and I left 2 notes, one on her bathroom mirror and another in her purse. Nice touch. Don't do it all the time, and make sure that she does those kinds of things to you. But when they're done sparingly like that, it's a nice surprise, and it communicates that you really do care about her and you actually mean the things that you say. Because most guys have absolutely no idea that women test, and these are the ways that they go about it. He says, I got a text that night saying, thanks for coming over, and oh baby, thanks for the notes. I like them. See, she's rewarding you for your good behavior, for being charming. That's romance. Women love that kind of shit. They eat it up. He says, she sends me naked pics of her or what she is wearing for the evening, and other texts saying what she is doing and where she's going and with whom. In other words, she wants you to know what she's up to and that she's not fucking around with any other dude. And that's a good sign that she's trying to win you as well, and she's trying to communicate that you're special to her. He says, just this last weekend, she got drunk and called me twice just to tell me she was drinking, and she ended the conversation by saying, I love you, baby. Is she giving me mixed signals, or do I just wait it out and see where she's going with this? It just means that she loved you in that moment. You got to remember, when a woman communicates her feelings to you, it's simply a statement of how she feels in the moment. And most men make the mistake of rationalizing of what they did yesterday or what she said last week or that she told them that she was head over heels in love with them a month ago. And it doesn't fucking matter what a month ago she did. The only thing that matters is what she's doing right now. So you should look at this as the fact that you're successfully causing her to feel those feelings in that particular moment. He says it's like she wants us to be together, but she's unsure. Of course, because of all the bad things that happened in the past. He says, I try not to hit her with questions too much, so I won't push her off or back her up in the progress that I've made so far. Good. Love is playful and fun. It's not serious. And you ask a woman questions, but you don't want to be asking questions about the relationship or where it's going or those kinds of things, because that would communicate that you're unsure of where you stand. And men should never be unsure of where they stand with a woman in any particular moment. That would be feminine energy expressing that. Women, when they get unsure, they express those things, and they're reaching out to you in that particular way because they're trying to help. They want you to give them some certainty of how you feel about them. He says, we live 3 hours away from each other, which isn't an issue, to her at least, and that's what she says. He says, these are my worries, so am I being paranoid, or should I just continue to take my time and leave her alone? Just keep doing what you're doing, dude. If you keep romancing her like this and letting her reach out to you and chase you, I'd say in another month or two she'll be back, head over heels in love with you, and she'll be blowing up your phone several times throughout the day, wanting to see you constantly. And you'll be in the driver's seat at that point, and it'll be up to you to decide whether or not you want to stay with this girl long term, because in my experience, not only in my own life, but having coached thousands of guys over the years, what happens is the reasons that turned you off and caused you to stop putting your best foot forward, stop doing all these kind of sweet things that you once were doing that caused her to fall in love with you, those kinds of things are the kinds of things that you want to continue to court her and doing what you're doing. Because if you continue to do those things, she'll fall in love with you. But you got to be cognizant and aware of the fact that Once you get her to fall back head over heels in love with you again, you might realize that you're not in love with her anymore. And so that's something you have to be aware of. But if it was totally the breakup was because you fucked up so much and you did really want to keep this girl, which is rare when I look at all the guys that I've coached over the year. But like I said, I want you to be aware of that and thinking about that and focusing on it and seeing how you feel about her throughout this process. Because you may, I'm not saying it's definite, but there's a good chance that once she falls back head over heels in love with you, and when you're a few months down the road, you might realize that you're no longer in love with this girl anymore. It's a possibility, so just be objective about it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep creating the next romantic opportunity for sex to happen, and keep doing the charming things you're doing, and be ready for her tests, because as she falls in love with you, the tests are going to get easier and easier to pass, and she'll even make it easier for you to pass your test because she wants you to get it right, because women help you when they like you, and the more they like you, the more they help you. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, your challenges. And you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response, because I get a lot of email from the internet. And I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers, but be patient and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, go to my website, and underneath the email sign-up box will be a box that will take you to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. And you don't have to have a Kindle device to read the Kindle version of my ebook. Once you get to the download page, on the right-hand side, there's a button that will open up a window where you can download a free e-reader app for your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device, your Android smartphone, your Mac, your PC, whatever device you want to read it on. Just download the app that's appropriate for it. It takes a matter of seconds to download and install it, and then after that, it only takes a few more seconds to complete the purchase of my book, and you'll be reading it in no time. And I will talk to you soon.